Now, you know I have to hit you with the disclaimer at the beginning of the video. I'm recording this audio on the night of April 1st. It is Monday. I just got back from a trip, so we can proceed with our regularly scheduled content. But if there is a contract extension signed between this player and the Carolina Hurricanes between the time I finish recording this audio and the time this video gets public on YouTube, then I apologize. I cannot control that. But today what we're doing is we're going over an idea tossed out there by Renaud Lavoie on TVA Sports as to whether or not the Montreal Canadiens could realistically get themselves one of these top players onto their team next year. Now, I know what you may have been thinking when you saw the title in the thumbnail. Okay, are we doing this again? The Montreal Canadiens and Carolina Hurricanes one more time? Bro, we've made so many videos about these two teams over the past few years. It's incredible. But Renaud Lavoie had himself a little segment where he talked about another one of these guys. Enter Marty Necas into the frame. Necas is a 25-year-old, 6'2", 198 right-handed player, center right wing, and he is signed on till the end of the season making $3 million a year. He also happens to be an expiring RFA, so his rights will be held by the Hurricanes. They cannot lose him for free, but Marty Necas is a player who, at $3 million a year, you could say, has been in a crazy good deal. Because last year, on the first season of his $3 million AAV contract, he put up 71 points in 82 games played. This year, Necas has 52 points in 70 games, on pace for about 57 points, so a slight decrease, but still, I mean, what, a 57-point guy? That's a pretty good player for $3 million, just saying. And if you go to the Carolina Hurricanes and their daily line combinations, you'll find that Marty Necas has been played on the third line as of late, alongside of Jordan Martinook and Evgeny Kuznetsov. Now, Kuznetsov has actually been pretty good upon his arrival in Carolina, and the team as a whole, I'd say they're one of the favorites in terms of Stanley Cup odds. A lot of people always have the Carolina Hurricanes near the top of being able to do some damage, but with Marty Necas on the third line, you can debate the importance of his role in the upcoming playoff push. This is where we bring up TVA Sports and an article published a few days ago by Renaud Lavoie asking the question if Marty Necas is the next player to join the Montreal Canadiens. There is well-known history between the Habs and the Canes. Marc Bergevin submitted a hostile offer. Okay, they mean offer sheet, but because I translated this article from French into English, it goes out there and says it like that. But there was history because Marc Bergevin submitted an offer sheet at the time. The Hurricanes also responded a few years later by doing the same with Jesperi Kotkaniemi. Renaud Lavoie said during the pregame between the Canadiens and the Hurricanes on Saturday, the story may not be over. Could the Canadiens steal one of their good young players from the Raleigh team? Marty Necas is a restricted free agent at the end of the season, noted Lavoie. In the NHL, what is circulating is that this is a player who would like to end up with another team. Could this be him, the next player who joins the Montreal Canadiens? The TVA Sports journalist believes more so this would be a trade rather than an offer sheet, however. In Necas, Kent Hughes would add another established young forward to his roster after acquiring Kirby Dach in the summer of 2022 and Alex Newhook last summer. Now, this is an intriguing idea, mostly because when everybody sees Marty Necas and his profile, they'll say right away, okay, this is not the kind of guy that you leave off of your team. You bring this kind of guy back. What are you talking about? A third-line player? $3 million? He had 70 points last year, near 60 points this year. Even if he is not a 70-point guy every single year, he's proven his value, he's proven his worth, and there's a lot that he can accomplish at this level, especially at 25 years old. The Carolina Hurricanes, heading into next season, have about $30 million in cap space, but Necas isn't the only guy they're going to have to bring back. Teravainen needs a contract, so does Jake Gensel, but you can debate whether or not he's going to come back. Martinook, Jack Drury, Seth Jarvis, a lot of these guys need contracts, and half the entire D-Corps is having their contracts expire as well, so there's going to be a lot of money shelled out to the rest of this team. But Renaud Lavoie's information is interesting here because it's not him saying, oh yeah, the Hurricanes want to trade Necas. It's saying specifically that Necas wants out. that there is an idea floating around the NHL circles saying that he would potentially want to go to another team. Maybe he's unhappy with being a third-line player. Maybe he feels that there's a lot more that he can do. And maybe, for a guy of his caliber of talent, he's thinking about this like, hey, this team just gave me $3 million a year. They're playing me on the third line. My contract is expiring as a restricted free agent. This team wants to have all the bargaining power over me. If there is a world where Marty Necas feels that he's owed a little bit more in this league, not just in terms of money, but in terms of playing time and opportunity, maybe there is some sort of a reality where he wants out. I'm just speculating. I'm just going out there and replying to what it was that Renaud Lavoie said, but it is an interesting enough idea where I think about it. Especially as we have seen Kent Hughes over the years pull off these trades for middling, younger guys in the NHL who have proven some pretty alright things, but who still have yet to break out. I will say, when it comes to the Dach and Newhook path following itself up in 2024 and the Canadiens potentially getting another guy like that, Marty Necas has established himself so much more than Dach and Newhook have at the points in time when the Canadiens acquired both of those guys. So if the Canadiens were to try and trade for Necas, it would be for a lot more than just Alexander Romanov or a second and a first or whatever. There'd be a lot at stake here. Because even if Necas' contract is expiring, it's expiring as an RFA, so there still is good protection there. So I toss the question out here to Montreal Canadiens fans. When you talk about the Carolina Hurricanes, the links between the Habs and the Canes go far back. You talk about KK, you talk about Aho, you talk about the rivalries, and you talk about how the Canadiens fan base just cannot shut up about Jesperi Kotkaniemi. Is there room, in your mind, to see another transaction done between these two teams? How, according to Renaud Lavoie, there may be some sort of a disappointment in the way that Marty Necas has played and used in the system. If he does want out and he does want to go to a new team, is Montreal the fit? And if that's the case, where do you slot him? If you go over to the Canadiens lines and you try to fill in the blanks here, Necas plays center and right wing, so if you talk about the Canadiens and their current top six, right now you've got Yoel Armia and Gallagher in there, but it's going to look a lot different when Kirby Dach comes into the fray. Let's say the Canadiens roll with the top six of Caulfield, Suzuki, Slafkovsky, Dach, Necas, and Newhook. That looks pretty good, I would say. Lots of versatility, lots of skill there, and then put Necas on the top power play unit, probably replacing Alex Newhook in that spot, so go Suzuki, Slafkovsky, Caulfield, and then Necas, and then probably Matheson, I guess. That seems pretty good, if I do say so myself, especially if you're a believer in Marty Necas, like I think a lot of NHL fans happen to be. Hey, this guy had 70 points last year, but his ice time dipped this year compared to last, and he is not in the top six anymore. So there's very reasonable ammo, I guess you can say, as to why a guy like Necas would want out, especially entering the prime years of his NHL career. He's 25 and just coming off of a $3 million AAV contract. If there's a time for him to make some money, it's now. There's a reason he signed that short-term $3 million AAV deal in the first place. It's because he wanted to prove to the Carolina Hurricanes and to the rest of the league itself, hey, I am that guy. I can be that good. And he displayed that last year. He was one of the top guys in overall points on the Canes. In fact, I think he led the team, did he? Yeah, he did. He led the team in points last season, which is kind of nuts to consider that he's now on the third line. But either way, let me know your thoughts if you're a Canadiens fan. What are your opinions on the idea of Necas heading over to the Habs? If you are a Carolina Hurricanes fan, what are your thoughts in this commentary here? Am I completely wrong about your guy? Because if I am, then I apologize for that. I'm just responding to what I'm seeing. I'm responding to the ice time levels. I'm responding to the lines displayed on Daily Faceoff. If there is a reasonable doubt as to why or why not Necas would want to leave, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if it's a trade to Montreal, what are your opinions on what it would take to get this trade done and satisfactory for you? If you're a Canes fan, what do you want in exchange for Marty Necas to make it work? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.